Here's a question for you. Is it possible to do business and do good for society? At first, I wasn't sure. But now as a social entrepreneur and working with other friends who are also doing business for good, I know my answer will be yes, all the time. Still, how does one do it? And what is their journey like doing business and doing something good for society? There are so many business models you could do. Do you do a 1+1 model where you buy one and donate one? Do you build a nonprofit? What causes do you support? All great questions, and something I'm excited to dive into more just in time for the end of the year, at a time where consumers are paying the most attention to a business's social and environmental initiatives. A time to reflect on how we are all working and serving this world to make a better place. And a time to take advantage of the fact that by investing in social activism, we're not only doing better for the world, but building trust with our audience. Hi, I'm Monica Kang, founder and CEO of Innovators Box, and you're listening to Curious Monica. Today, I'm excited to learn all about social entrepreneurship and what it's like to have a business and also serve society for good.
For me, I had no connection to Hollywood, no relatives, no friends in the business. In the philanthropy world as well, no connections to the biggest charities in the world. For me, it was literally all about cold calling.
You either succeed in putting on that show or performance, and in this case, you either succeed in saving the world or you don't. And we don't have another world to go to. We could talk about Mars, but that's its own different story.
Social entrepreneurship. A person who pursues a noble business that has the potential to solve community-based problems to make this world a better place. But what does that really mean? How does a business really help make a society a better place? And how does one determine how to do that and still grow as a business, aka a profit? I was curious. Before I founded my company and had to think about how to make Innovators Box a social enterprise, I realized I wasn't as familiar with how that worked. Do you simply donate your time, products, or services to others? What cause do you decide to support? It's all great questions, and if your heart is there, it is an important way to not only solve a problem with your products and services, but also serve a greater community.
My personal and professional lives are inextricably linked. I decided to create this career for myself as a social entrepreneur because living a life of service and giving back is actually what helped save my life after experiences as a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault and human trafficking. When I was beginning my journey of healing and, really getting on my path to recovery, I noticed that one of the most powerful tools for me was when I was donating my time and giving back, because I realized that I wasn't the only one in the world who was suffering. We all have pain and tragedy and trauma and obstacles that we've overcome in our lives. And so when I was really forming these deep bonds with other people who were in pain, and I was focusing on what I could do to be of service and to help them, it completely transformed my life. And I was getting back so much more than I was giving. And I discovered that, wow, this is where I really need to put my time, my energy, my focus, my passion.
Meet Amy Mellon in Los Angeles. She is the co-founder of True Heart, where they transform charity projects into social impacts. I'm excited to speak with Amy and a few friends today who will share more about their journey as social entrepreneurs. What is it like to give? What is it like to serve and build a business with a social mission? And how did they get to be where they are? As you heard, Amy already shared that she first learned of the power and the joy of giving because of the gift she received from others in her journey. As she volunteered in social mission work, she wondered what it would be like for her business to have a social mission. She was great at hosting events and bringing people together. And as she did more and more events over the years for big names in Hollywood, she wondered how that investment could be made to serve those in need as well.
Yeah. Well, when I started my business, I was getting asked to produce all these parties for the MTV Video Music Awards, the Grammys, the Oscars, these big fashion shows for different designers. And I just thought to myself, wow, these are people with huge platforms. And keep in mind, 24 years ago when I started, there wasn't social media. So, the platform that I'm speaking of is just the ability to connect with fans. And through the power of traditional media, which I've worked in PR my whole career. So we're talking about, interviews on television, radio, print. This is before really anything online existed. There was a way to really move people and to connect with them in meaningful ways where they would say, wow, my favorite athlete or my favorite singer or actor or supermodel is involved with this cause. I should look into this and see how I can get involved. And so in the beginning, when I would chat with my clients and say, hey, if we're doing this party and we're getting 500 or 5,000 people together in one room, why don't we infuse some purpose into this party and use it as a way to raise funds and awareness for great causes? And 2 decades ago, in the beginning, there definitely was some pushback from, the clients that I was working with saying, we don't want to do that. We just want to keep it focused on, the new single or the new album or the new movie or the new fashion line coming out. And I just said, look, if you want to work with me, I'm interested in making an impact and giving back. And I know that there's something here. There's something at the intersection of Hollywood and philanthropy where we have an opportunity to inspire millions of people to do good. And I found out through these conversations with celebrities and athletes that I was working with that almost everyone wants to give back and make a difference. Most people just don't know how, and they need the roadmap and they need the tools to do it. So thankfully, there were enough good people who said, all right, let's, give this a shot. Let's have the Grammy party benefit VH1 Save the Music, or, let's have the Oscar party raise funds and awareness for foster kids. Let's use this as an opportunity to make a real difference. And I'm grateful now, 2 decades later, that with almost every brand, there's a corporate social responsibility department, and purpose is baked in to their strategy of not just wanting to have people buy their products and services, but how they can actually make an impact and help transform local communities around the world.
So many gem insights right here. The first lesson in building a business with a social mission is to believe in it and be persistent with it. Yes, it can be daunting to have your clients resist and ignore your ideas on social impact. But when you persist, you will find the way and find more people who resonate with it. This is why Amy was able to not only serve so many meaningful experiences for many communities, but also help raise funds for good for so many different communities through these events with a purpose. Oh, and it wasn't certainly easy though. Philanthropy and Hollywood are two fields where a lot of things are done a certain way. And for Amy to lead with impact and find more like-minded people to work with required more outreach, patience, and persistence.
In the beginning, starting out in any industry, relationship building, I think, is one of the most important things to do. It really informs how you're going to grow your business and not just get new clients, but also then create those long-lasting, priceless relationships where you get to work with the clients you love on a regular basis, and people come back to you for multiple campaigns. And, you proudly can say, I've been working with this client for 5 years or 10 years. That's an amazing situation that you want to create for yourself. For me, I had no connection to Hollywood, no relatives, no friends in the business. In the philanthropy world as well, no connections to the biggest charities in the world. For me, it was literally all about cold calling. And, I know people still do that to this day. I'm a big believer that It's one really kind of scrappy, which I think is one of my superpowers, ways that you can help grow your business, especially in the beginning. You have to understand, though, that most of the time people are going to say no, and you have to be okay with rejection. So for me, I kind of flipped the script and I looked at it in the positive, that the more no's I heard, it just meant I was closer to getting my first yes. And in the beginning, all you need is that one yes, right? That one person who's willing to give you a chance, let you prove yourself, and show that you can provide a lot of value to that person or to that company.
Yes, you can make a difference even if you don't know anyone in that industry. You can start with what you know, and as Amy shared, be persistent. From cold calling to active listening, the key is you never give up on why you wanted to serve and work for good. Of course, in the process, you should ensure to make space for how you price and position your goods. Giving is important, but do price and plan accordingly.
I had a friend, it was funny, that used to joke with me back in the day, Amy, you are giving so much to your clients. I bet you would paint their house if they asked. So I was kind of going like the opposite direction, kind of to the extreme, where I just thought I had to do everything to prove myself in the beginning. So I wasn't really conscious of the fact that, hey, I should make my pricing for my services in a way that is fair to myself and enables me to, make a good living and be able to support myself without any issues. So that was one of the most important lessons for me to learn as an entrepreneur, how to value my services and my time and not undervalue my worth. And, I do a lot of speaking to young entrepreneurs to inspire them and light them up. And that's one of the things that I always tell people, especially women, because we're already making less than men for doing the same job, which is totally frustrating in 2021. But please, ladies, fellow entrepreneurs especially, know your worth and don't be afraid to ask for it.
Don't undervalue your worth and work. Yes, just because you are doing a business to serve others and give doesn't mean you can't make a profit or price something accordingly. You still have bills to pay, and you have to think about the operation and the cost to maintain your business. It's so important to think from the holistic lens of how to run the business as well as give. Without it, we're either not thinking about the greater impact or we're giving away too much to the point we burn ourselves out. That's not good either. This is why when I ask Rachel about her journey as a social entrepreneur on what skills helped her be who she is today, she brings up two words: compassion and communication. Yes, you have to care about how you serve, but you have to think about how you are leading that impact too.
I think of two words that come to mind immediately. It's compassion and communication. And compassion doesn't necessarily mean that you're just being overly polite or kind. Sometimes compassion is also being able to tell somebody the hard truth about something, and that makes them uncomfortable. I'll just use a case point example. I'm a white woman here, like a white, cis, straight woman. You can't get almost any more privileged than that, and it's being able to look that as a hard truth. Like, there's no way that I can ever put myself in a woman of color's shoes and be able to understand the experiences that they have gone through. And I'm just going to say here in the United States, let alone anywhere else in the world. So I think that having that acknowledgement is a first step, but having the compassion to be able to say, no matter what I do, I won't understand, but I want to be able to help and lift others around me, in whatever capacity that I can. And I think that is, one level of compassion that I think is critical to being able to really move forward together. And then the other is communication.
Meet Rachel Smetnoff, a young leader dedicated to championing innovation and social impact causes. Over the past 10 years, Rachel has helped work on all 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals, where she has contributed to over 100 projects with 89 organizations across 37 countries. She is the co-founder of Global Futurist Initiative, which aims to elevate youth contribution to sustainable development and social progress. This effort is housed by and in partnership with InternetBar.org Institute, of which Rachel became its executive director. I loved Rachel's insight about compassion. Working on UN Sustainable Development Goals, known as the SDGs, means that she will at times have to have tough conversations with clients, partners, and even colleagues. It's important to not sugarcoat it and empower at the same time in helping others make better business and leadership decisions that are making society a better place. SDGs are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed to be a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. The SDGs were set up in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly and are intended to be achieved by the year 2030. The important thing to note is every organization is not expected to make progress on every single goal, only the ones that make sense for you. For instance, at Innovators Box, in our work to make creativity accessible for all, we follow Goal 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth, Goal 4, Quality Education, and Goal 5, Gender Equality. These goals help us outline how our services, content, and products are making a difference not just for the immediate stakeholders we serve, but the greater community and society. It's a lot of learning and reflecting and being intentional. Which begs the question, how do you build a career and become an expert in this space? Rachel said it wasn't a linear path, but she focused on what she found interesting, which were many things.
I would like to first and foremost say that nothing in life comes like as a linear path. And I think we've all like gone through this journey in that similar way. And I don't even think that there's more to a shape than maybe like an abstract. So in my head, I think of my journey as kind of like up and down and side to side and forward and back. You know, it's like almost like 3D in a way, where I have seen like the way that I have been able to craft my journey is that I originally started wanting to go to medical school. And due to like a variety of factors, I thought that I think it would be best if I were to pursue like a postgraduate program or even a master's program. I didn't even think about public health until the summer of my senior year, whereas most students start thinking about public health school and getting into that even after like having years of working experience. And so I'm just coming in like bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, like not really thinking of anything other than like, oh, this might be cool. So let me explore this. Just like right before I was about to graduate. And that's when I came across University of Notre Dame's Master of Global Health program.
The program led her to not just learn about public health, but what it means to do business for good. She became passionate about international affairs, international organizations, and wondered what it would look like for more businesses to think about social impact and effect it would have in what they do. Yes, some have more direct health consequences than others, but every business's decisions and inaction influence how we live as a society, community, and environmentally as beings on Earth. So how did you first fall into SDG and become passionate about this industry and work?
Yeah. So, I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest here, like this is like filter off right now. What I loved about the Sustainable Development Goals is because it's very colorful. I love colors. So that's what got me attracted to it in the first place. I love the colors. I love rainbows. I love, complimenting your background, of course. But of course, like looking beyond like the pretty colors aspect of it is being able to see that it encompassed a lot of the things that I was interested in the way that it was a framework that was built out more so than it was just like a path. Because you can go within like the Sustainable Development Goals and contribute to one specific indicator or target for the entire rest of your life. And for me, I'm just that 30,000 foot view, like enthusiast that I just love seeing the bigger picture of things. And so I was like, I just try to tackle them all at once and see what happens. So I think that it really just came down to, maybe it sounds a little bit arrogant or, a little bit of gusto, or maybe it's just naivete. But I genuinely just love being able to see that big picture of things. And I think that also stems from my childhood a bit. where I grew up doing community theater over the summer for about 10 years. And it's being able to see like the ensemble, the orchestra, the lighting, the production, like all of it come together to make this beautiful masterpiece. And I think that's kind of where I really fell in love with that grand picture sort of thing. Because once everything's in place and you have the lights on and the show's rolling, that's it. You get that one shot and that's basically it. You either succeed in putting on that show or performance. And in this case, you either succeed in saving the world or you don't. And we don't have another world to go to. I mean, like, we could talk about Mars, but like, that's its own different story.
Indeed. No matter how you got into thinking about the social impact, the key is what you do as a result of it. Rachel's honest reflection and picture of the theater is insightful. It also shares insights into what skills are key to serving as a social entrepreneur and social impact leader. Being able to think about the details and see the big picture all at the same time. And even when you're caring for others, learning how to stop and take care of yourself is a crucial skill as a social entrepreneur. If you're busy only serving, giving, and helping, how do you stop to recharge? I feel work has only gotten busier for you and all social entrepreneurs during the time as we see how the pandemic reminded us how connected this world is.
I mean, you're spot on. Like, it's like the questions you ask, like you can see right through. So I think that definitely I've gotten busier, but the way that I like to take care of myself and the way that I've been able to manage the newfound anxiety that I didn't know that I had until this pandemic is that I like to go for walks outside. I am privileged and fortunate enough to be able to walk outside and feel like I'm getting some sort of fresh air. I literally live in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. Right outside my backyard is a cornfield with windmills. So that is the level of extremity of the fringe of society that I live on. But it's being able to have that opportunity to walk outdoors, to be able to have that mental reset. And I do that almost every single day, or as many days as I can. So I think that has been able to help me recharge and get me through the day because it's something that I do look forward to. I take the pandemic, again, because of my anxiety, really seriously in a way that I do not go out like 80% less than I did. It's not like I went out all that often anyways, but like this drastically reduced this in a way that to me, like going somewhere else is literally like just outside my front door.
Yes! Such important reminders. Rachel shares 2 key things in her recharge practice. 1, that it's something she could easily do, and 2, making it a daily routine, or as often as she could. I agree. I feel I've had more insomnia and restless days with anxiety when work got busier this year than before. And it became even more crucial to hold on to my morning routines of exercising and recharging at night with reflection, movies, and good milk tea. These small rituals are a powerful way to harness ourselves because just because we're here to make a difference in society does not mean we have to burn ourselves out. So what do you do to make a difference with your work? You start by being curious. Get curious about what you are interested in and why. Get curious about how you may do your business differently to both work and serve society. Get curious about why you care about social impact. And get curious about how others may have done it and what you can learn from them. You don't have to be a formal social enterprise to make a difference. It can start with one initiative, one partner, or one more dollar invested into good causes. Today, Rachel and Amy are some of the many social entrepreneur friends I know today who are constantly showing up each day to serve not only their immediate clients, but for the greater society and social good. Whether you joined us today to learn more about how you could do your business with a social mission or help others in their social impact, I hope this inspired you and empowered you. We need more of you as each voice in action will help make this world a better place. So thank you for tuning in and taking a moment to reflect as we wrap up a year of learning and growing in 2021. This was your host, Monica Kang, founder and CEO of Innovators Box, and you're listening to Curious Monica. Thank you again for joining us. please take a moment to learn more about Rachel and Amy and their work in our show notes. I hope you enjoy the end of the year holiday season and build in time to recharge. Next week, we'll be back with more stories and new insights. Have a happy end of the year and see you soon. Enjoy your songs from the Pause to Wonder album.
Cause it's too cold for you here now, so let me hold both your hands in the holes of my sweater. It's too cold for you here now, so let me hold both your of my sweater. It's too cold, it's too cold, the holes of my sweater.
Oh, hi. I'm Monica Escobar, the visual brand designer at Innovators Box, and I hope you're enjoying Curious Monica. I recently brought back a self-care ritual into my life by doing yoga every morning. Yoga relieves any tension in my body, and I meditate through it to start my day. This show is brought together by our amazing podcast team at Innovators Box Studios. Shout out to our audio engineer, Sam Liemert, Kelly Gravo Marketing, website designer Akriti Pandey, Neon Branding, Leah Arsenio on social media graphics, Sarah Piedrahita and Flor on project assistance, and Luke Helder on music. And of course, the show is hosted and directed by the curious woman herself, Monica Kang, founder and CEO of Innovators Box. To continue the curiosity and creativity of the workplace, visit us at innovatorsbox.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share. We'd love to hear what you're curious about and what mysteries Monica can uncover in our next episodes. See you next week.